And I mean, so obviously, I think everyone knows, or at least most everyone knows about Isom. Yeah, we got young Rippa making his own comic book line, which Nerdrotic over here, Gary knows very well, being a comic book salesman, that it's good quality shit, isn't it?
It is. It is. I find, after 10 years of selling comics, the secret to selling comics is having them to sell. And Eric puts them out, and he's got a great team, a talented team. And I think it's a good start. It's not perfect, but it's a good start. And considering that he just decided to do it, put up his own money, Eric's kind of a Renaissance man, does the singing, has his band, has been YouTubing since he was like 5 or whatever. And now he's starting a publishing company. And I think it's right. And he's got like Mike Barron there, Chuck Dixon. These are giants. These are prolific writers from comics. So good for Eric.
Yeah. He can sing too. We found one of his music videos a few months ago. I've never heard him sing before. He's awesome.
I have a question for you, sir, about comics, because Jack Kirby, I know, was CIA. So from what I understand, there's a lot of disclosure of things that actually went on in some of these intel agencies and some of the experiments like X-Men and stuff like that. Obviously, it's an exaggeration, but from what I understand, there's some truth to some of the stuff that's in some of these comic books. Like, it's a form of soft disclosure. Do you care to comment on any of that?
I've never heard Jack Kirby being in the CIA. I know Jack Kirby was definitely influenced by Chariots of the Gods and Zachariah Sitchin and that all of that was going on, and maybe even Velikovsky for catastrophism, and that's where the Celestials came in, and the Anunnaki and all that. I know there's that influence. He was in World War II. I know he actually was. What he would do was he would draw out like a plan, like a town for them to, because they didn't have photography or it wasn't that readily available. That's what he was doing in World War II. I think like soft disclosure going through pop culture, I think that's been happening for a while. I would connect that to even Spielberg back in the day, like soft disclosure. And but as far as disclosure for what, for aliens, because I'm into all this stuff, by the way, Jake. For example, like with the X-Men, it would be soft disclosure for not aliens. It would be soft disclosure for things like the psychic spy program, for example. Yeah, well,
like MS-13 kind of shit. Not MS-13.
You mean MK Ultra? Yes.
MK Ultra.
What are you talking about?
It was kind of interesting that a lot of that stuff was in the zeitgeist while it was happening. So and people didn't know about MK Ultra while it was happening. It came out a little later, but it is an awfully interesting coincidence. I'll say that. I don't know for sure, but I also think artists are influenced by what they're into, and I think Jack Kirby was probably into that stuff because there's a lot of it that echoes throughout his books and a lot of writing and a lot of comic book writers, and it still goes on to this day. But I honestly don't know. Jack Kirby was the fucking king. That's what I know.
Well,
speaking about
Kurt, you get so little of the credit. It all goes to Stan Lee, but Jack Kirby, really was like the backbone of the comic like movement in the early 60s and the 50s and the 70s, right?
Yeah, he and Steve Ditko, John Romita, but yeah, Kirby was he was the impetus of most of the ideas. Stan Lee was there too, and he was a good spokesman for comics. He was a nice guy. I met him, but yeah, he was better in the public than Jack Kirby was. So Jack Kirby got overshadowed like way too much.
Spaces,
and probably got shafted out of a lot of residuals because of it. Got shafted out of a lot of money. That guy produced, I think the number, I could be wrong, but the number was like 20,000 pages in his lifetime. It's an insane number that guy of pages that he drew, better than anybody can today. Miss that guy.
Those are like L. Ron Hubbard numbers.
Yeah, but his stuff was good.
That bitch wrote more bull than any person ever. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
The
Big book.
Scientologists.
Yeah.
I am the mysterious man.